I'm Insad and I saw Mank. It is directed by David Fincher, screenplay by Jack Fincher, and if you haven't seen this movie, I will spoil it for you. This movie made me sad, so I had to go look at the ducks, but the ducks are all over there because I scared them off during my Citizen Kane review. I hope they waddle this way. This movie starts with following Mank, and Mank is a writer who likes to sleep in bed all day, just chill in his bed, drink alcohol, and he likes to procrastinate on a lot of things. And he has Orson Welles calling up, and he's like, hey, could you please make sure you hit this deadline? Please, 90 days? Let's aim for 60 days. And I'm like, okay, this type of person, I don't know how he's gonna complete this deadline. I just feel like he's going to use like the first 6 weeks to just laze about, and then the next like 2 weeks just coming up with ideas frantically and using that and just having it as a first draft. What I really like about Mank is how talented he is as a writer. He only can write about what he knows. Also, I like how like insanely good that he is compared to like all the stuff that he makes, you know? It's pretty interesting. I really like how much Mank procrastinates. I honestly think having a lot of pressure on you is a great way to be creative within certain deadlines. And this is a strength that Mank has. He creates like great art. He's like, I'm the type of person, I don't want to like edit my work. And Orson Welles is like, you know, with teamwork, we can make this work, you know? And I'm like, okay. I mean, I like Mank's artistic stuff. Like, he seems like a really starving artist. That's like really what he is. Because he only wants to do work when he's inspired, when he has a fire underneath his butt. And it's honestly kind of inspiring, actually. There are certain things that I don't enjoy about Mank, though. He is kind of abrasive, is what I would describe him. He drinks a lot of alcohol and he lays down in bed, and he has a disregard for deadlines when he could just start on stuff early, but instead he's all about waiting until the very last minute, and this can cause a lot of stress. It causes a lot of stress from Orson Welles. He's trying to create this movie. So it seems that Mank is ruining his life. He's kind of just all over the place. He seems like he's able to just leave early at social events, unlike Orson Welles, whenever he's like offended, you know, just like he's kind of within himself. He's very reserved is what I gathered from Mank. He has a hard time hitting deadlines. I've already met that, and this is a really big part of the movie, like really massive. I honestly think that like the conversations with all the fellows, like just like kind of like the intimate conversations, there's some like back and forth that is hard for me like keep track of, like the little specific things. Like I wouldn't say this movie is as detail oriented as Citizen Kane. However, I would say this is a very good homage to Citizen Kane, because there's clearly some thought in all of these shots that are used, and also the values too. The dialogue isn't as tight as I would like it to be in order for me to really be engaged and enthralled with the movie watching experience. Mank has this little lady that is just so dedicated to him. I'm like, wow, you are really loyal. She's like, I'm gonna stay next to you by your side until the very end, and I want to take care of you because I believe in you. Even no matter how negative Mank is, she's always by his side, and I really respect that loyalty. I gotta be honest, throughout the entirety of this movie, up until the very end, I was like, oh my goodness, Mank, please pull your life together. Even like throw up behind like this whole table of like people who you're just like trying to impress. He comes up with the story of Citizen Kane, or at least part of it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is where the Citizen came from. This is the genius. To have such good art and to be able to tell such a nice, enriching human experience, he has to be within that like suffering state of like, I don't want to do anything, I gotta like suffer to pay the bills and all of that jazz. You gotta keep yourself grounded to really make something as well enriched in detail, just really well made story like Citizen Kane. At the end of this life, he's known for Citizen Kane, and he died when he was 55 from many, many alcohols. And I'm like, oh man, as soon as I saw the very end where it said like when he died, I'm like, that is a struggling artist. That is a starving artist if I've ever seen one. And he didn't seem like he was starving until the very end when he offended the guy who was paying like half of his salary. And so he got kicked out of that place where he threw up. And I'm like, man, I would have thought, man, I've lost all my opportunity, and just, you know, be sad. But I really do like how he's still inspired after this loss when we have Orson Welles coming over to him, and he's like just kind of typing or whatever, just writing stuff down, and Orson Welles like, oh, why did you offend that guy? And he's like starts breaking everything, and that inspired Mank is a weird name, Mank, to right to very end, the most emotionally devastating thing, the most raw thing of Citizen Kane is when Kane just starts destroying the room. You know, that was raw, and I'm glad that I got to see where that was inspired from. I really like how this ties into Citizen Kane because I watched this back to back. I watched Citizen Kane first, and then I watched Mank, and I really like the fleshing out of the production and also the art itself and what led to the production. Like, I really like that a lot. I definitely think that if you want to watch Mank, you have to watch Citizen Kane first. Also, this is definitely inspired by Citizen Kane, although I would say the shots aren't as like visually interesting as Citizen Kane, but that's a really high bar. Like, there's still some really interesting shots in this movie. If you want to watch this movie, just watch Citizen Kane first. So I gotta give this movie like a solid 8.2 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another one. YouTube really likes that. If you want to fast track a movie review, you can do that for $20 redeems at patreon.com/ASEPresents. And if you'd like to help support the daily grindiness of all them daily movie reviews, go to this link tree. Find the way you can help support the daily grindiness of all them daily movie reviews. So you can go here, and until next time, mint salad saw. I see you later, my salad croutons, big bits.